Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Hello. How's it going? I've been very busy. Can you tell I haven't been outside for very much? And I've got scruffy hair. It's going well. I just noticed I've left Steam open in the background. Whoops. I wanted to discuss in this video the podcast because at this point, it's 2 years old. This is going to be coming out on the day that it's 2 years old. Happy anniversary, I guess. And that started this whole thing, and how it became me making content happened. Thanks to that podcast. That podcast started as an experiment because I've always wanted to do a podcast to see if I could run a YouTube channel. And I mean, I can, but there's other things to it. It worked, and it got me into content for a very long time. I did burn myself out on gaming content. That's why there's not very much gaming content on the channel, either of them. I might bring it back, not sure. I have lost the enthusiasm for it, but I'm really enjoying right now making the podcast, making shows. I have tons planned on that screen right there. You can just see them in little color bars. You can see all the different logos for them. You'll be able to see those soon if they go any further on the plan. And yeah, I've really enjoyed this so far. I've enjoyed making content a lot. But the podcast started as an experiment to see if I could do this. But the original logo, it had to be changed. If you haven't noticed, I've changed the logo for the channel, which originally was only designed for the podcast. But I lost the view on it. I didn't like the podcast logo anymore. I decided to change the logo, but that wasn't the first logo. I mean, I made an entire load of logos in the design of it, some just being text. I mean, you can watch the history of this podcast in the playlist over there, and you can see how it changed drastically. I mean, in the past 4 episodes, we've only just got good audio microphones. We were originally running off USB and now on XLR. Idea of the podcast has also changed a lot. Originally, the idea of the podcast was just a news kind of thing, and now it's just a couple of friends talking, which I prefer more. Yeah. But it doesn't go everywhere I want it to. That's why I'm introducing new shows to the channel, hopefully to gain more subscribers of some sort. I mean, I know it's a very niche market that I'm targeting towards, but I want to see if I can do it. And the point of this channel not this one, Press Red. The point of Press Red isn't just for me. It's more like a group effort. The point of that channel, I think I've mentioned many times, is comedy. Because during COVID, it was incredibly boring, sad, and there wasn't enough comedy. And I wanted to make a system that could run around comedy even when the world shuts down like that again. If it shuts down like that again. I mean, if it can happen once, it can happen again. Keeping it light hat here, yeah. Yeah. And I've actually moved the podcast set. You can see my headphones, but you can sort of see the podcast set. I moved it purely for the fact that the podcast has mostly gone online now. And also, I'm a bit of a microphone nerd, and this isn't efficient for recording podcast episodes, so I'm hoping to get one more microphone just for this. And I'm not sure if I buy any more microphones for the podcast set, actually, because we're not doing it that much here anymore. It's mostly online. I mean, the 2 I've got has become very useful for when we do script recordings, or we do have someone over who doesn't have a good microphone or microphone at all to record with. And yeah, it's definitely become useful, but I don't see the point of it now. Having just one would be okay. If we do more stuff here, then maybe I'll get some more microphones for this, and maybe some camera equipment, because currently I'm borrowing a camera, which I hope looks good, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, back to what the whole point of this episode is, the history behind the podcast. Yeah, so in 2019, I started the first episode, which is no longer available due to the fact it was awful, and I don't want anyone to see that. So yeah, it was removed pretty swiftly, actually, off in the same year, I believe it's taken down. I just can't believe it's been 2 years of doing the podcast. And we're only at episode, what, 16, 17? What episode are we on? What episode are we on? Yeah, so next episode is episode 16, which will be coming out on the 2nd. So should be the same week that this comes out. I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule for a bit. I took a bit of a break. Yeah, it's nuts. And I'm not stopping. I want to carry on making the podcast. Even when I am now going to college, I want to carry on the podcast. And maybe college might be able to inspire me in different ways to take care of the podcast and change it around a bit. I mean, having a small bedroom that, well, I say small, reasonably sized bedroom to do all of this isn't the best idea. Worst part is when someone else walks past in the hallway, I change my vocal tone and start to get a bit quieter. And I mean, I have dreams for this whole thing, this whole channel and the other channel to get bigger and be able to be run in a studio, but I'm not there. I don't know if I ever get there, but let's have fun with this while I have the chance and open more podcasts. So, actually, let me announce something. I'll be introducing a show called Lemonade. Yeah, and the point of that show is it has nothing to do with the name. I just thought the name sounded cool. I haven't actually checked if anyone else has got that. I'll go and check that later. If it changes name, you know why. But it's mostly for the fact I need something to announce new shows. I can't just do it all on the podcast. If I have a series where I announce shows on it, and it's just all that is kind of like an advert kind of thing for Press Red. So if you want to see a new show comes out, it goes out, trailers and stuff go out under the Lemonade show, and we'll see how it goes from there and if it gets better. I'm also thinking of doing a gaming show. I'm still on the brig of what that's going to be, but mostly for the fact that I want to talk about that. I mean, it's good timing that that's on my screen. Well, not good timing. It's good that that's on my screen, even though I didn't mean it to be there. I want to talk about that. As a Steam and Valve fan, I want to talk about that and how cool it is and how uncool it is as well at the same time. Mostly cool. Anyway, I guess I should end this episode and see you next time I do one of these. I can take this off the list now. Yay. I need to gain my enthusiasm on this.